Hoyo we, huyoni bibi ya mwenyewe. Hoyo we, huyoni bibi ya mwenyewe.
This is Jeremy Goldcorn for Danwei TV. I recently took a walk through some of the lesser-known parts of the Forbidden City with Geremie Barmé, the scholar, filmmaker, and author of a new book simply called The Forbidden City. He showed me the Crystal Palace and explained its history.
There are many extraordinary places in the Forbidden City. One of the great myths about the Forbidden City, or the Palace Museum as it's now called, is that most of its buildings have a continuous history or a certain particular provenance. In fact, most of the buildings have been rebuilt many times after various catastrophes, lightning strikes, careless fires, looting, general clumsiness. And this is one of those spots. Known as the Crystal Palace in the Chinese call the vulgar terms of the masses. This is a building built in about 1909, just before the Qing imperial dynasty collapsed. It was built by Guangxu's wife, or rather his widow, Longyu Empress, or the Empress Dowager. And it was built on the remains of a former concubine's residence that was destroyed in 1845 due to fire. And it happened at the late Qing dynasty at a time when there was a lot of modernization in the air. The Qing Empire was attempting to create modern railways, a modern parliamentary system, a modern schooling system, and also turn itself into more of a modern polity. And this interesting creature, this strange building, was built at that time as a modern interpretation of a Western palace, and it's called in popular terms Shui Jinggong, or the Crystal Palace. Built with numerous glass windows and 2 stories above ground. There's 1 story below ground built as an aquarium, which was supposed to be filled with water from the Jade Source Spring, or Yuquanshan, outside Beijing, which is to feature various types of exotic fish. I don't know how they were supposed to survive in the winter. But the building was constructed from 1909 by a German construction group and sadly remained unfinished. It still remains as an interesting heritage relic in the Forbidden City, the only truly fully formed, though incomplete, Western building in the precinct of the Forbidden City. It's also fascinating because it, of all buildings, maybe because it was easy to spot, I suppose, was bombed in 1917 during the attempt by the imperial court to restore the throne to the Puyi, or the Shantung Emperor. So it was bombed. I think 1 or 2 bombs were dropped by a flyover by the local northern Chinese government. Eventually, the place, having been abandoned, was turned into a storeroom. Not itself, but the buildings around it were rebuilt or fashioned in the 1920s, and they became major vaults for part of the imperial collection.